You are 23 years old. You graduated from the police academy 6 months ago. You have worked traffic stops and bar fights in a town 2 hours from the capital. Your father drove buses for 30 years. Your mother cleaned offices at night. You grew up in a council flat with thin walls. You could hear your neighbors' arguments through the plaster. One morning, an email arrives. Subject line: Royal Protection Command, application status. Your hands shake when you open it. You applied on a dare from your training partner. You never thought they would respond. They want you for the selection course. You take a train to the capital. You have been here twice before in your entire life. The palace looks like something from a postcard, not a place where actual people live and breathe. You meet 47 other candidates in a cold gymnasium. Half of them went to private schools. You can hear it in their vowels. They stand differently than you do. The course lasts 8 weeks. You run until you vomit. You practice formations until your legs cramp. You memorize 200 faces marked threat. You learn to scan a crowd in sectors. You learn that your body is a tool, not a person. You learn that hesitation will get someone killed. An instructor named Davies pulls you aside one afternoon. He tells you that you telegraph your movements. He tells you to stay calm, stay invisible, stay ready. He tells you that most recruits wash out in the first year. You nod. You do not wash out. You pass because you are stubborn and you have something to prove. You are issued a suit that costs more than your car. The fabric feels strange against your skin. You are issued an earpiece and a radio and a sidearm you pray you will never fire. You stand in front of a mirror in the locker room. You look like someone else entirely. Your first posting is gate duty at a secondary residence. You stand for 9 hours and watch tourists take photographs. No one looks at you. That is the job. You are furniture, you are a uniform. You are 23 years old and you are invisible by design. You call your mother that first week. She asks if you have met them yet. You laugh. You tell her that people like you do not meet people like them. You are there to make sure they stay safe and comfortable and utterly unaware of your existence. She tells you she is proud anyway. You believe her. You are 25 now. You have been on the job for 2 years. You work perimeter security at state events, garden parties, charity galas, award ceremonies at historic halls. You stand in the background while men in metals and women in silk move past you like water. You learn to read a room in 30 seconds. Exits, sightlines, blind spots, people who do not belong. You learn that most of the job is boredom interrupted by brief moments of sharp focus. You learn to stay alert when your body wants to sleep. You see them sometimes, the senior royals. They pass within 10 feet of you. You can smell perfume and cigar smoke and old money. They do not look at you. You are part of the architecture. This does not bother you the way you thought it would. It is freeing, being invisible. One afternoon, a man tries to jump a barrier at a public walkabout. You move without thinking. You and another officer intercept him before he gets within 20 feet. He is drunk and weeping and harmless. But you did not know that when you moved. Your supervisor notices. He does not say much, but he notices. You are reassigned to closer duties. You begin working inside the palace itself. Security sweeps before events, monitoring entry points during private dinners. You walk the same halls that kings and queens walked for 300 years. The first time, you hold your breath without meaning to. You meet a woman at a pub near your flat. She works at a hospital. She is funny and kind and normal. You date for 4 months. You cannot tell her most of what you do. The secrecy sits between you like a wall. She ends it gently. She tells you that you are never really present. She is right. You work through Christmas. You stand in the cold while the family attends church. Crowds press close. You watch hands. You watch eyes. You do not think about your own family until the shift ends. Your mother sends you a box of biscuits. You eat them alone in your studio flat at 2 in the morning. You are 25 years old. You are good at your job. You are starting to understand what the job will cost you. You have not decided yet if the price is worth it. You are 28. You have been selected for close protection. This is the job within the job. You are assigned to a younger royal, a prince in his early 20s, third in line to the throne. The press calls him the Spare. You are part of a four-person team now. You rotate shifts. You travel with him. University events, military training, ski trips in the Alps, nightclubs in Soho where you stand near the bar and watch him drink too much. He is not what you expected. He is funny and reckless and deeply lonely. He makes jokes that you are not supposed to laugh at. Sometimes you fail. He notices when you almost smile. He keeps trying to break you. It becomes a game. You are with him 16 hours some days. You hear his arguments with his father on the phone. You see him cry once after a funeral. You pretend not to notice. He knows you notice. You both pretend anyway. The tabloids follow him everywhere. Photographers on motorcycles, long lenses from across the street. You learn to hate cameras in a way you never expected. They are predators. Your job is to keep him just out of reach. One night, he tries to leave a club through a side exit without telling you. You follow anyway. He turns around and snaps at you. Can I have one bloody moment alone? You stay 2 steps behind him. You do not answer. He sighs. He apologizes 10 minutes later in the car. You tell him it is fine. It is not personal. It never is. You stop a photographer from following him into a private hospital visit. The man shoves you. You do not shove back. You simply exist in his way until he leaves. The prince thanks you later. It is the first time he has said your name. You realize you are starting to care about him. Not as a job, as a person. This is dangerous. Your training warned you about this. Attachment creates blind spots. But you cannot help it. You've seen him at his worst. You've kept his secrets. That changes things. Your father has a stroke. You take 3 days of leave. You visit him in the hospital. He looks small in the bed. He asks about work. You tell him it is fine. You do not tell him that you missed an entire crisis because you were gone. You do not tell him that you felt guilty for leaving. You are 28 years old. You are responsible for a life that is not your own. The weight of it is starting to settle in your bones. You do not sleep as well as you used to. You check locks twice. You see threats in crowds that are not there. You are very good at your job. That fact scares you more than it should. You are 31. You have been on the prince's detail for 3 years now. You know his schedule better than he does. You know his moods. You know when to step closer and when to give him space. Then it happens. A public event in the north. A man breaks through the barrier. He is moving fast. Too fast. You see something in his hand. You do not think. You step between them. It is not a knife. It is a camera. But you did not know that. You could not have known. In the 4 seconds it took to move, you were prepared to take a blade meant for him. The man is restrained. The prince is fine. You are fine. Your hands do not shake until an hour later, alone in a bathroom stall. The incident is reviewed. You are cleared. You acted correctly. But something shifts inside you after that. You understand now, in your body, what you signed up for. You would have died. You did not hesitate. The prince pulls you aside 2 days later. He does not say thank you. He just looks at you for a long moment. Then he nods. You nod back. There are no words for what just passed between you. You are moved into his inner circle after that. There are people who have known him since birth who do not have the access you now have. That access comes with new burdens. You hear things, family arguments, financial troubles, scandals brewing in the background. A senior royal, his uncle, gets involved in something ugly. The palace works to bury it. You are asked to help coordinate movements, keep certain people away from certain photographers. You do it. You do not ask questions. This is the job now. You meet someone new, a teacher. She is patient with your strange hours. She does not push you to talk about work. You think it might be serious this time? Then you miss her birthday because of a last-minute trip to Scotland. She forgives you. You miss another event. And another. She stops forgiving you. You are 31 years old. You have proven you would take a bullet. The family knows it now. They begin to trust you with things that have nothing to do with physical safety. Secrets, arrangements, the invisible work that keeps the institution running. You think about quitting sometimes. You could go back to normal police work. You could have a life that belongs to you. But when you imagine it, the thought feels hollow. This is your life now, for better or worse. You are 34. The prince is older now, more careful. He has married. You were there for the wedding, scanning the crowd while the world watched them kiss. You have met his wife a dozen times. She is kind to you. She remembers your name. That is rare. But the marriage is not what it looks like. You hear the arguments through closed doors. You see the way they move around each other like strangers. You say nothing. You are a vault. One night, very late, the prince asks you to drive him somewhere. No other security, just you. You should refuse. Protocol demands a full team. But he asks you as a person, not as staff. You drive. He directs you to a park. You sit in the car. He talks for an hour. About the weight of it all. About being born into a role he never chose. About feeling like a prisoner in his own life. You listen. You do not offer advice. You cannot. But you listen. He tells you that you are one of the only people who sees him as a human being. Everyone else sees the title first. You tell him carefully that the title is part of him whether he likes it or not. He laughs bitterly. He knows. You drive him back. Nothing is resolved. But something has changed. You are not just his protection anymore. You are his confessor. This is a dangerous place to stand. The palace is a place of factions. Senior staff who have been there for decades. Younger aides trying to modernize. Family members who barely speak to each other. You learn to navigate all of it. You become someone people trust with messages they cannot send directly. A junior officer on your team makes a mistake. He posts something on social media he should not have. It is not classified, but it is careless. You are told to fire him. You do it yourself. It is harder than you expected. He has a family. You think about your own father. You do it anyway. You are 34 years old. You have access to rooms most people will never see. You know things that would destroy reputations if they ever became public. You carry all of it in silence. Your mother asks when you will settle down. You tell her you are busy. She tells you that you're lonely. She is right. But loneliness is part of the job. You chose this. You remind yourself of that on the hard nights. You are 38. You have been promoted to senior protection officer. You oversee details for multiple family members now. You plan security for state visits, foreign dignitaries, royal weddings, events with 100 moving parts and zero margin for error. You work with MI5, with Scotland Yard, with foreign security services. You sit in briefings where terrorism is discussed in calm clinical terms. You see threat assessments that would terrify ordinary people. You learn to compartmentalize fear. A state visit from a controversial foreign leader. Half the country is protesting. Intelligence suggests it's a credible threat. You plan every route, every motorcade, every backup plan. You do not sleep for 3 days. The visit goes smoothly. No incidents. No one knows how close it came. That is the job. Success is invisible. The prince's marriage falls apart publicly. The press is vicious. Photographers camp outside properties. You increase security. You coordinate with lawyers and press officers. You are no longer just protection. You are part of the machine that manages the crisis. You see the princess, soon to be ex-princess, one last time. She thanks you for always being kind. She looks exhausted. You wish her well. You mean it. A month later, she is gone from royal life entirely. You never see her again. The prince changes after the divorce. He is harder, more distant. He drinks more. You worry about him, but you cannot say so. You are not his friend. You never were. The closeness you felt was an illusion. He is the principal. You are the officer. That boundary must hold. You attend a funeral for a retired protection officer, a man who served for 40 years. His widow sits alone in the front row. His children are polite but distant. You realize this is what the job does. It takes everything and gives you a medal at the end. You are 38 years old. You are one of the most trusted officers in the command. You have a flat you are never in. You have a refrigerator with nothing but beer and leftovers. You have a drawer full of commendations and no one to show them to. You think about leaving. You have enough years in. You could take a pension. But where would you go? What would you do? This job is all you know now. It has become your identity. Without it, you are not sure who you are. You are 42. You are no longer just security. You are the person they call when something cannot go through official channels, when something must be handled quietly and quickly and completely off the books. A junior royal is photographed in a compromising position. The photos have not been published yet, but the tabloid is negotiating. You are asked to handle it. You meet with editors. You make certain calls. You do not threaten anyone. You simply make it clear that publication would be unwise. The photos never run. You do not feel good about it, but you do it anyway. A staff member tries to sell a story. Details about the family's private life. You identify the source. You confront them with evidence. They resign quietly. The story dies. You add another name to the list of people who betrayed the trust. You realize you have become the person you used to fear, the one who makes problems disappear, the one who knows where all the bodies are buried. Not literally. You hope. The old head of security retires. You are named his successor. You are now the head of royal protection. You oversee more than 400 officers. You brief the monarch personally. You sit in meetings with the most powerful people in the country. The first time you meet the queen alone, you are terrified. She is smaller than she looks in photographs. She is also sharper than anyone you have ever met. She asks you 3 questions. Your answers will determine whether she trusts you. You answer honestly. You tell her what you know, not what you think she wants to hear. She looks at you for a long moment. Then she nods. You have passed some invisible test. You learn that the monarch sees everything. She has survived scandals and wars and prime ministers who try to diminish her. She is the still center of the entire operation. You realize your job is not to protect her from threats. It is to protect the institution she represents. The prince, your prince, though you do not think of him that way anymore, remarries. The new wife is different, warmer. She tries to modernize things. Some of the old guard resists. You are caught in the middle. Change is necessary, but change is also dangerous. You make a call that saves a life, a credible threat against a junior royal. You move them without telling them why. The threat is neutralized. They never know how close it came. You do not tell them. That is the job. You are 42 years old. You are at the top of your field. You have power and access and respect. You also have an ulcer, high blood pressure, a prescription for sleeping pills you take more often than you should. The job is eating you alive. You visit your mother. She is older now. She asks if you are happy. You tell her you're fine. She does not believe you. She has known you too long. You are 48. You have been head of protection for 6 years. You know every inch of every property. You know every officer by name. You know the threat board better than you know your own face. Then the intelligence comes in. A credible assassination plot, foreign-linked, well-resourced, targeting a senior royal during a public event. The details are specific enough to be terrifying. You have 4 days to prepare. You lock down the schedule. You change routes. You add layers of security that will be invisible to the public but impenetrable to anyone with intent. You coordinate with counterterrorism. You do not sleep. The day comes. You're on site. You are in the command vehicle. You watch every screen. Every officer is in position. The principal moves through the event. Smiling, waving, utterly unaware. Something feels wrong. You cannot name it, but you have learned to trust your instincts. You order a route change. Your team executes without question. Later, you learn that there was a secondary team in place along the original route. The route change spoiled the plan. The suspects are arrested 2 days later in a coordinated raid. The family never knows how close it came. That is deliberate. They cannot function if they live in fear. Your job is to carry the fear for them. The monarch calls you in personally. She thanks you. She tells you that she understands what you did. She sees you. For one moment, you are not invisible. Then the moment passes. You return to work. The prince, older now, grayer, stops you in a hallway. He does not say anything. He just shakes your hand. His grip is firm. You understand what it means. You have kept him alive for 20 years. That bond cannot be named, but it is real. You are asked to train the next generation of officers. You stand in front of a room of young recruits. They look at you the way you once looked at Davies. You tell them what he told you. Stay calm, stay invisible, stay ready. One of them asks if you ever regret it. The job, the sacrifice. You pause. You tell them the truth. Every day. And never. You are 48 years old. You have protected kings and queens and princes. You have stopped threats the public will never know existed. You have given your entire adult life to people who will never fully understand what you did for them. You would do it again. You are 54. You are still head of protection, but you are planning your exit. Your body is breaking down. Your knees ache from years of standing. Your hearing is damaged from the earpiece. You have scars you never told anyone about. A new threat emerges. Not physical, political. A movement to abolish the monarchy. It gains traction. Public opinion shifts. You watch as the institution you have protected your entire career comes under fire. You cannot stop political change. That is not your job. But you can keep them safe while the world decides their fate. You tighten security during protests. You plan for worst-case scenarios. You do your job. The prince ascends. His father has passed. The funeral is the largest security operation in history. Heads of state from 90 countries. 1 billion people watching. You coordinate every detail. It goes perfectly. No one knows your name. The new king thanks you privately. He tells you that you have been a constant in his life, a presence he could always rely on. He offers you a knighthood. You decline. You do not need recognition. You never did. You attend the retirement party of an officer who served under you. He gives a speech. He credits you with teaching him everything. You feel old. You feel proud. You feel the weight of all the years. You finally leave. There is a small ceremony, a medal, a handshake from the king. You clean out your office. You turn in your credentials. You walk out of the palace for the last time as an employee. It feels like dying. You are 60. You've been retired for 6 years. You consult occasionally. You give lectures on security. You live in a small house by the coast. You sleep better now. Not well, but better. You watch the news. You see the new officers standing in the background. You recognize the posture, the scan, the invisible vigilance. You were them once. The king is older now. He has grandchildren. You have never met them. That life is over for you. but you still feel a pull when you see him on television. You still scan the crowd behind him. Old habits. A young officer reaches out. He is struggling. He is thinking of quitting. You meet him for coffee. You listen to his story. It is your story. It is everyone's story. You tell him the truth. The job will take everything from you. It will cost you relationships and sleep and peace of mind. You will give years of your life to people who will never know your name. You tell him it is worth it anyway. He asks why. You think for a long time. You tell him that some things are bigger than one person. That duty is not about glory, that the work itself is the reward. You are not sure you believe it, but you say it anyway. Maybe he needs to hear it. Maybe you need to hear yourself say it. You are 60 years old. You protected a family through scandals and threats and the changing tides of history. You were there in the background of 1,000 photographs, invisible, essential. Somewhere, a young recruit is standing at a gate. They are 23 years old. They have no idea what they have signed up for. They will learn. They always do. The cycle continues. You finish your coffee. You pay the bill. You walk home along the seafront. The wind is cold. You turn up your collar. You do not look back.